Let's play a game, the blame game. Who is to blame for the Sixers 1-6 start? Yeah, I'm blaming somebody. Who? I don't know. We're going to find out. We're live answering that tough question in 30 seconds.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 woo!
And what is up, everybody? Good evening, and welcome to the STT Sports Network. I'm Phil Stiefel, and yes, this is live, Marshawn. Look, you guys all know me from Trending in the AM, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30. Tomorrow, we're going to be spending the entire morning talking Eagles, talking Cowboys, preview and predictions, and I got to talk a little Sixers. I've got a little poll going on social media. And I can't stay awake till 2 in the morning watching these West Coast games, but I gotta talk about it. I gotta feel this out. I gotta see where Sixers Nation is. And I love old game shows and stuff. So let's play a game of who is to blame for the Sixers' slow start. For the fact that the Sixers are a measly 1-6 to start the season. And I got a poll running on Twitter. I'll pull it up in a few moments here. The poll is Joel Embiid, Nick Nurse, Daryl Morey, other. And I've got over 170 votes in a few short hours. Lots of comments on it. But this Sixers season, ripe with anticipation. This Sixers season, ripe with expectations, has already, in a week 7 game stretch, fallen completely apart. And last night's no different, and actually compounded the issues with the fact that Tyrese Maxey is now out for a few weeks, which when you say a few weeks, that could be 2 weeks, that could be 17 weeks. Hamstring injuries are just like that. Considering that Nick Nurse after the game said, I don't think it'll be a big deal. Then later in the day, they say it's going to be several weeks. So I'm sitting here today thinking all day at work, and I had a very early morning today, and I'm driving myself nuts thinking, why? Why are the Sixers so bad so quickly? And there's going to be a lot of people, and I know, Marshawn, I'm going to get to all your comments in a second, because I know you're going to have some things that I agree with and some that I don't agree with. We were told this was going to be different this year, and it hasn't been different. So, Marshawn, right off the bat, says blame number 1, Joel Embiid, 2, Nick Nurse, 3, Daryl Morey for investing in little guards. I'm going to flip this around a little bit. You know me, Marshawn. You know I am not a Daryl Morey guy. You know I am not a Daryl Morey supporter. I am going to blame Daryl Morey first and foremost, because this was supposed to be the best team built around Joel Embiid, but also the best team to overcome the games that Joel Embiid doesn't play. And this team has been dreadful without Joel Embiid out there. It goes to show how important Joel Embiid is as well. Now, I do blame Joel Embiid for not being ready for the start of the season. And what drives me nuts is how few people are blaming Nick Nurse for this slow start. Nick Nurse has not done a good job coaching these role players, coaching this team to overcome the adversities that they've faced so far. Nick Nurse is upsettingly horrid. It's funny. I couldn't even remember what I said when Nick Nurse was hired all that time ago. And I went out there and I dug through loads of tweets to find out what I said. And I was really excited about the Nick Nurse hire. I really was. And look, I'm wrong. And I questioned Nick Nurse a little bit at the end of last season. Was he the right guy or not? Was he just another Doc Rivers living off of one title from a long time ago? I mean, let's think about it. Nick Nurse was run out of basically of Toronto. What, 5 years, 4 years after he won a title? A lot of players that I wanted from Toronto couldn't come to Philadelphia because they had beefs with Nick Nurse. You already see some cracks and kinks in the armor there with this current roster and Nick Nurse. Yeah, the hashtag right now is not trust the process. It's made for this. And in everything I do when it's Sixers related, I type not hashtag made for this. Because the Sixers aren't made for this. They're not made for anything at this point. We only play good in the first quarter, and then the landslide happens. Well, the landslide happens after the first quarter because that's when Nick Nurse starts playing with the rotation, playing with, his options. Look, everybody now knows that Tyrese Maxey's out for weeks, several weeks, whatever that means. This should be the moment for Jared McCain to get his opportunity as a rookie. And I made a tweet about this earlier today. Sixers Nation wants Jared McCain unleashed. What Nick Nurse is going to give us is 38 minutes of Reggie Jackson. And that is where the blame game goes on Daryl Morey. And maybe I did this special pop-up episode just so I can have time to crush Daryl Morey for bringing back Kyle Lowry, for signing, Reggie Jackson, Eric Gordon, all these old guards. Yabusele to be your backup power forward who's playing 30 minutes a game and then 10 minutes the next. Andre Drummond, great backup option for Joel Embiid, but not when Joel Embiid doesn't play 100% of the games. I've thrown the towel already. Reminds me of AI's last year. I see a lot of people saying tank for Cooper Flagg or whatever the kid's name is he a Duke or a Kentucky kid, a small forward, whoever the top prospect, something Flagg. I'm already seeing people talk about it. And we only have our first-round pick next year, Marshawn. It's top 6 protected. So if you want a draft pick next year, you got to tank. Like, I see a lot of people throwing in the towel. Now, unfortunately, but also luckily, negativity sells. But being a content creator, I got to keep paying attention. I got to keep talking about it. I can't talk about the union firing Jim Curtin. Like, nobody cares about that. That ain't driving the algorithm. Talking about, Matvey Michkov getting benched tonight as a healthy scratch as a rookie. That ain't going to drive the algorithm. But bashing Daryl Morey, bashing Joel Embiid, that will drive the algorithm. You're a hater. Joel messed up the season. Morey did his job. Did Morey do his job? That's what I'm asking. You think that Reggie Jackson, Kyle Lowry, Eric Gordon would be that much better if Joel Embiid was playing? And then the question comes, why isn't Joel Embiid playing? So that's where the organization is screwed up even more as well. Because they're not telling us what's wrong. They're not giving us the full details. They're the ones that approved him to play in the Olympics in the first place. Joel Embiid, and I don't want you to think that this is a hate. I don't not blame Joel Embiid. I do. He is a big part of the issue here. Availability is everything. You can't help the club from the tub. That old cliche saying. But here we are, 7 games of the season he hasn't played. He's going to miss at least one more, maybe two more before he's able to play after his suspension. Joel Embiid is to blame 1,000% for this situation. I just don't put him number one. Nick Nurse has not done anything. No, he hasn't. He basically got lucky one year winning a title with Kawhi Leonard and a bunch of role players. And that's it. Like nothing at all. And I watched him for years in Toronto, and he was really good. Was he really that good in Toronto? Because I didn't watch a lot of Toronto basketball, except for when they played the Sixers. So I don't know if he was really that good. But we've learned that there were a lot of Raptors players that didn't want to come to the Sixers because of that. Made for this being sucking. They're just not made for anything. Morey did his job. Nurse and Joel have failed this team. See, I disagree on the Morey part. What did Morey do? What did he do? He brought in a bunch of old guards. He brought in Paul George, a guy that doesn't play 100% of the games, to pair with another guy that doesn't play a lot of games. You drafted another young, small guard to pair with your small guard. You brought in a guy, Yabusele. Yabusele's been good. You're right. He has been. But the fact that we're expecting Yabusele to help carry this team when he couldn't make it in the NBA 2-3 years ago, the only reason why he's on this team is because he posterized LeBron in the Olympics. Looks like we're going 1-14, TY says. 1-14. Let me see here real quick. Let me back. I got the box score from last night's game up. I want to go back to, so we're 1-6 now. So we've got the Lakers. That's going to be a loss. You got the Hornets at home. You might be able to win that. The Knicks at home. I don't know. That'll be Joel Embiid's debut, maybe. Cavaliers, you ain't winning that. Magic, Heat, Grizzlies on the road. That's going to be a tough stretch. I don't know about 1-14, TY. But let me tell you something. It ain't going to be much better than 1-14. You might have a win or two on the schedule there. As I said, we have too many over-the-hill players. You're not wrong, and I've said it too. There's way too many older players on this team. And like I said, I joked a few moments ago. We want to see Jarrett McCain unleashed now with Tyrese Maxey. Going to be missing 2-3 weeks of action at least, because hamstring injuries are always a question. But we're going to get 38-year-old Reggie Jackson playing 38 minutes a game. I kind of feel like after 7 games this year that Nick Nurse is no different than just having Doc Rivers out there. Joel Embiid is the biggest loser in Philly history. Have you been drinking tonight, Marshawn? That's pushing it. That's pushing it. He might be one of the losers in Philly history, but he's that damn good as well, because we went out there, regular season-wise, we're a much better team with him than without him, and that's not questioning. You can't question that. The win-loss record there is pretty clear there. He was really good in Toronto, especially on defense. And you know what? It's funny because I said I dug through old tweets to find my opinions on him, and I saw tweets about me tweeting about his defensive prowess as a head coach. And what are we seeing this year defensively? What's our defense look like this year? Philadelphia sports is frustrating. Oh, you're not wrong. Look, we can talk Eagles tomorrow morning on this show. With my man Ryan Reese will be joining us as we do Eagles-Cowboys. But you got that video floating around of Jalen Hurts saying, no, I'm not happy to Lane Johnson in a joking way, obviously. And there's already media people running wild with that stuff. You're making this about Morey when Joel was healthy for the contract signing. Was he healthy? Do we know he was healthy, Marshawn, for the contract signing? Because I don't know that. I'll blame Morey for giving him the contract if he wasn't healthy. But if he wasn't healthy, then that's on Morey, in my opinion. Morey constructed the team and failed. Nick Nurse is the captain, the leader, the colonel calling the shots, and he's failing. And Joel Embiid is the NCO leading the charge in battle, and he's failing. Thank goodness for the Eagles. That's right. Damn straight. Hold on. I'm missing comments here. The over-the-hill gang, yeah. I'm not saying he's not good, but he is a loser. He looks like a loser, pouts like a loser, acts like a loser. You know, what I can say is this, Marshawn. I can't say that I agree with 100%, but I think you're 100% justified in thinking this. 100% justified in feeling this way. I really don't think Embiid is ready. T.Y., I was thinking about this the other day, that I feel like he's going to come back too soon. He's not ready. And the NBA is kind of pushing the hand of the Sixers to bring him back. And he's going to play in the NBA Cup and not be ready, hurt the knee even worse, and then he's going to miss 3 months of the season. We're not live. I'm just live reading all your comments on the air. But that's right. Changing your name again, because I don't hate you. Can't say I love you, but I can't say I hate you. He was healthy enough to sign that. Yeah, look, that's on the Sixers end, because I just dropped my mouse. I can't do this without the mouse. Because don't they do a physical when they sign big contracts like that? What is up? He hate me, or whatever you want to be called today. Yeah, look, I'm here. I skipped this morning, but I'm back now. And I'll be back tomorrow morning live. Had to get the physical this morning, the yearly physical. Had to get the blood work done, the breathing, the heart checked out. Had to get it all right. And we'll see. We'll see what the results are like in a few days, few weeks, whatever it takes. That's what happens when you put all your eggs in the oven. Yeah. Yeah. I forgot you did change. You changed your name more than I changed my underwear. Wait, this is a trick. It's a treat, not a trick, K1. Because I know tomorrow's show is going to be fully dedicated to the Eagles-Cowboys preview and predictions. I got my man Ryan Reese joining me tomorrow morning for a stretch of the show. So I wanted to get some frustrations and some feelings off my chest about the Sixers right now. So the way I do that is crack a few beers, crack a few jokes. I brought myself 2 beers down with me. Normally I bring 1 coffee in the morning. I brought myself 2 beers, and when these 2 beers are done, end stream happens. That's the way it goes, unless somebody brings me another beer. Marcus Hayes was right about Joel. Look, the only problem I had with the Marcus Hayes article wasn't him questioning Joel Embiid's performance or health or anything like that. It's him bringing his son and his deceased brother into the argument. That's where Marcus Hayes took it too far, and that's what Marcus Hayes does. He takes things too far. If the Sixers were a pizza topping, what would they be? They'd be black olives, which is just disgusting. Anchovies, I understand why some like anchovies. I don't, but they'd be black olives. Disgusting, basically. That's what they would be. Yeah. We really don't know the extent. We don't, because we don't even know what the injury is. We don't know how he injured it. What is the injury? We don't know anything about this injury at this point. Flag for flag. What's his name? Cooper Flag. The only way you get that draft pick this next draft is if you're top 6. So you might as well. I've already joked that you should punt on the season at this point. There's no reason not to punt on the season. Pepperoni and pineapple. Beer 1's gone, just so you guys know. So you got the second beer, which I won't finish it quite as fast as the first one. Pepperoni's overrated. The Sixers are overrated, so I can see that. Bonus coverage is lit. Hey, nighttime, even though you guys like to screw with my poll question, which I've told you doesn't work if you don't vote yes. You got to vote yes, or just did, to help the algorithm, to help new people finding the show want to subscribe, but whatever. I'm tired of defending Joel. I did that with Ben for years. Marshawn, you remember probably more than anybody else that follows this. I wanted to keep Ben over Joel way back in the day. So, I'm right there with you on that. Dropper for Harper. I don't even know what that means, Beebs. I'm not sure. Cooper Flag sounds like he's happy with the election. Cooper Flag. Yeah, okay, gotcha. I get that. I don't even know who half these guys are that you want from the NBA draft, because I don't watch the NBA or college basketball or know anything about the NBA draft. But I do know a lot of people are agreeing with me that you punt on the season and refresh. I already saw one big name media member write an article. It's behind a paywall, so I wouldn't read it. Writing about, already consider trading Paul George as soon as you're allowed to at this point. Eric agrees with me. I'll blame Morey for $600, Alex. Look, you know me. You guys know me. I am not a Daryl Morey fan. Daryl Morey built this team. Daryl Morey gave Joel Embiid the extension. Daryl Morey did it all. He hired Nick Nurse. He signed Reggie Jackson. He brought back Kyle Lowry. He drafted Jarrett McCain, a guy that will not get used. This is all on Daryl Morey. And I've been telling people for years, since the day one, that Daryl Morey was not going to win us a title ever in this city. And here we are, how many years into it, and we still haven't gotten past the second round. Joel impede, whatever, yeah. Sorry, can't say it really well. Then just make yes the only answer like in the old country. I'm just going to put all yeses on there. I like to mix it up with different words. Yeah, I remember it was before even DSM Media. It was when Scotty just had Scotty Talks, his own private channel, and I was doing AAT Birds, and that was it. And I went on his show, and he asked me a question point blank. You only can keep one for the next 10 years. Who you keeping, Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid? And I'm like, look, Joel Embiid might be the greatest center. Might has the potential to be one of the greatest centers of all time. But I'm like, Ben Simmons has the potential to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. I was all in on Ben Simmons, Marshawn. But see, that's the thing. You won't get other people like you and me that will admit our mistakes. I'll admit I was wrong on Ben Simmons, without a doubt. And I'll brag about it. Should we look to get rid of the big guy. Ty, it's something that I've dabbled in discussing. I hate it. I hate the idea of it. But I did talk about this offseason taking a step or two back so you could take 2 or 3 steps forward in the future. I didn't want Paul George because I knew it wasn't going to make that much of a difference because of Joel Embiid. So I don't know how you consider it. I don't know who would take Joel Embiid at this point. Now that you've added the 3 extra years to his contract, now that he's already missing games this year with another injury, him saying he'll never, play back-to-backs. I don't know how you trade him. If you were going to do it, you had to do it before this offseason. Now that value has taken a little bit of a decline. Rutgers has 2 elite prospects in Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. I highly recommend you check them out. Well, if I'm going to check them out, I know to just go to the Party on Broad podcast YouTube page, and I'm sure you got highlight clips of them right there on your page. And if you don't, I'm sure you will soon. Y'all blame the wrong people to protect Joel. I'm not protecting Joel. I'm frustrated just like everybody else with Joel. But who gave Joel the contract? Who enables Joel Embiid to be Joel Embiid? Nick Nurse and Daryl Morey. I'm putting him in blame. He's got some blame in this. Just not sure if it's all the blame or the most of the blame. Morey may find a horse head in his. Who's putting it there? We know Josh Harris. Josh Harris probably doesn't even know. I left other in the poll question. I'm going to put up on the screen, expecting at least one person to respond to my poll with Josh Harris is the one to blame. And not one person picked Josh Harris. Before I put up on the screen, I want to refresh it one more time just so I've got the most up-to-date results on this poll. All right, we're up to 175 votes on this poll here that I'm running on my Twitter page right now. Oh, there we go. Add it to the screen. You guys like the new little overlay I did for these pop-up shows here? Making a little overlay. So 175 votes. Daryl Morey's got 32% of the votes. Nick Nurse, 21.7%, 33.1%. So winning the poll so far through what's this been up there for since 11/16. So about 8 hours, this poll. Joel Embiid's dominating. Other got 13% so far. We're going to go through some of the comments on this poll in a few moments. Trust the process 2.0. You know what? Honestly, at this point, who gives a crap, right? Are we ever going to win a title with Joel Embiid? No. So mine as well. Mine as well at this point. Joe will never. As I say that, then the next comment is the exact same thing. We have a team of injuries. Just face it. We have a team of injuries. We have a team of over-the-hill guys. We got a team of losers. Ben Simmons' pick made Phil look ridiculous, dude. Ben Simmons, that ruined me. That one really made me lose some faith. I'm wrong on Joel too. Yeah, look, I get it, Marshawn. I get it. I understand the Joel Embiid frustration that you're feeling. I truly do. I understand it. That is something that we can agree on. Let's go through some more comments here. And a man in Phil's position cannot afford to look. Oh, I look ridiculous on a daily basis. Every second of every day. Ben was hurt in college. Was he hurt in college? I don't even remember that. Who doesn't show up in big games? Who pouts when he doesn't get his way? Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. This is I thought we were playing the blame game, but we're turning this into the venting, to the Marshawn venting. Get it all off your chest, Marshawn. All I can say is Tobias Harris for Jimmy Butler. We never chose Tobias Harris for Jimmy Butler, T.Y. Let's get that clear again for the 100th time. We chose Brett Brown and Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler. Tobias Harris was the result of that, okay? Phil, are you against democracy? I am completely against it. I'm a communist at heart. Make sure you have that overlay. You like the overlay? I mean, it sucks once I do the shared screen thing, but I was messing around at work for a little bit today, having a little fun, for some things like tonight when I pop up here with a show. Let us have a choice. We want. No, you don't get a choice. The reason I blame Morey, he wasted Embiid's prime. Embiid's prime is over at this point, honestly. He says the best teams compete and are young and athletic, and he doubles down with the old. I chat with my buddy Brian all the time. Can you even win in the NBA with your number one player being a 7'2", 285-pound center? I don't know if you can. Missed this here with a conspiracy theory alert. The NBA commissioner told Josh Harris that he would never win a championship with the players you drafted with the hinky-tanky. Morey must start over. Look, I don't think Josh Harris even knows what's going on with the Sixers. He's preoccupied with his Commanders, and that's it. He got what he wanted, football. That's it. That's it. That's what he wanted. I blame Adam Silver for this. Yeah, exactly. We're going blast from the past there with that one. Joel wasted his prime. We lost against the Hawks and fumbled it. We lost against the Hawks. Well, we lost against the Hawks because Danny Green got hurt. I still think we win that series if Danny Green doesn't get hurt in game one. We lost that series because Ben Simmons passed up a layup instead of, taking the layup. But yeah, we were never getting past the Celtics anyway. So I would not at all be surprised if Mr. It damn sure. Look, yeah. Obviously, they got a thing against the Sixers and the Philadelphia teams in all sports. Marshawn's pissed off, K1, and I get it. I understand it. I am venting, Phil. I was excited for it. Dude, me and you both at the end of last year said, we're not going to fall for it again, right? And then day one, we're all in again. And by day two, we're all out again. Because it's the same shit, different day. It really is. The Nuggets won with their MVP center. That is the only counter to that. I get it. Is that tonight's game, Bengals-Ravens? Yeah, the Ravens win tonight. Ravens win tonight. For sure. So it's Joel's fault the Ben believed he was the only player in NBA history who didn't have to develop his game. That's fair. That's fair. Judd is in the house. What's up, Judd? How you doing? Hope you are well, my man. Phil has his poll on the screen. No, I have my POLL on the screen. Okay. If I had my other poll on the screen, it's almost Festivus time. Oh, there's my Festivus poll right over there. The other kind of poll. I can't reach it. I don't have go-go gadget arms anymore, Mitchie Poo. Mitchie Poo never changes. Never changes. I think the chatter is forcing Embiid to come back too soon, and no one really knows the real reason. TY, just literally, I could show you the text message that I sent to my man Brian, who watches the morning show sometimes, my college roommate, one of my good friends. I could show you the text message. I said that to him, that he's going to come back too soon because of the chatter, because of the Marcus Hayes situation. And you know what's going to happen? He's going to make it even worse, and he's just going to be out the entire year. It is Joel's fault for fumbling a 26-point lead and an 18-point lead against the Hawks. He is the leader of this team, is he not? Well, when Ben Simmons was here, Ben Simmons, kind of wrestled for that control. This team will be 20-20, and this will be a nothing but a memory. Nooms, I love the positivity. I think there are 34 people watching this show right now. My guess is you are the only one with that positive vibe. I love it. I can't say I agree with it, but I love the positive vibes. For sure. I do. Trade recommendation, Embiid and George for LeBron, AT, and Bronny. No. But I can see the Sixers at some point. Like, we already hear Giannis Antetokounmpo pushing the narrative that a trade might come eventually. He's not directly doing it, but he's hinting at it. It won't be much longer till it starts from Joel Embiid. Honestly, if he comes back too soon, gets hurt, he's going to start asking for the trade. Phil has more polls than your. Yeah. No, where are we at? Delilah's? Which one are we talking about? Definitely Morey's fault. He fumbled acquiring Halliburton, Buddy, Barnes. Look, we could talk about that. We could blame Morey for what we got for Ben Simmons because Daryl Morey was so dead set forever to make sure he got James Harden and missed out on many other opportunities to improve this team. You can blame Nick Nurse. Look at what Buddy Hield's doing out there in Golden State right now. Lights out. And he wasn't even playable in the playoffs here last year. Couldn't even get on the floor in the playoffs last year. But he's lights out in Golden State. I think that's where he's playing, Golden State. But he's lights out. I know that. Halliburton could have just signed in the offseason. Look. Yeah. But Paul Chump will cost his team in the playoffs anyway. It's Nick Nurse for letting Maxey play 44 minutes a game, most in the league. Jared McCain drops, 17 or 19 the other night, and has played like 5 minutes since then of meaningful basketball. Yeah, well, we'll get into football tomorrow. This is a basketball show. This is a pop-up show so that we can talk all football tomorrow. You don't need to bring football into a basketball conversation. Halliburton trade did not exist. Stop with the fan. I disagree. I think it was there. But Halliburton is having a little down year so far to start this year. But see, the thing is, Halliburton and Maxey would never have happened. Maxey would have been a follow-up trade chip at some point. That Halliburton trade rumor was before we drafted Maxey or right after we drafted Maxey. So Maxey never develops into mad max money Maxey if Halliburton's here, and you probably trade him for another piece, just so you know. But I think that trade was on the table. You could have had what's his name, the guard that was with the Spurs and the Hawks last year, D'Anthony Murray. You could have had him. There were a lot of other trade options other than James Harden that you could have gotten. Let's go Sixers. I'm always a fan. Yo, TY, thanks for tuning in today. Be live tomorrow morning, 8 a.m., trending in the a.m. Number one morning show in Philadelphia. Maury got 3 picks for Harden. What are we talking about? He's already wasted them, haven't he? Look, if you don't see that Daryl Morey had a fascination with James Harden, I can't help you. I'm letting you vent about Joel Embiid. But if you can't see that Daryl Morey was so those little blinders that they put on horses so they don't get distracted when they're running races. This was Daryl Morey trying to trade Ben Simmons. Only seeing one thing and one thing only. And that was, where's James Harden and how can I get him? Never gives fouls in the playoffs yet. If we breathe in, we could fart on Jalen Brunson, they'd call a foul. Without a doubt. Stop. You're not going to win this. You're not going to change the conversation. You're not going to have it happen. We need to pay Big Dom to make the NBA commissioner's office, and he can't refuse. Yeah. Y'all really clamoring. Not anymore. I was then. And Halliburton had a great playoff run last year. Halliburton's having a bad start to the season. The little I followed. Morey got 3 firsts for Harden, and he was washed. But we gave up like 17 to get him here. So it doesn't all wash out. Daryl Morey is great at fixing mistakes. The problem is half those mistakes are mistakes he created in the first place. The only thing I'll ever give credit to Daryl Morey for is fixing the Al Horford situation. That's it. That's the only thing I'll ever give him credit for. Nick Nurse couldn't sabotage the team. If you give him a roster full of young athletic players, he wouldn't have any options but playing the best available, which bothers me that Nick Nurse, isn't getting enough credit for the failures this season, but also he's not developing young guys. When he was in Toronto, yeah, he had Kawhi Leonard, but he had a young Fred VanVleet, a young Pascal Siakam, a young Gary Trent, a young OG Anunoby. He had a lot of young players that he developed in Toronto, yet he doesn't do it here in the last year and change here in Philly. And that to me is really confusing. Blinders or not, he got that value back, but he lost value in getting them in the first place. He didn't get full return on his investment. And I'm not protecting Joel. Joel is to blame. Joel is a problem, just so you know. Are you old or your memory just shit? Morey gave up 2 firsts for Ben. Gave up 2 firsts and Ben to get James Harden. I thought he gave up more than he got back. That's just me. Maybe I'm old. Maybe I didn't go with that. I should have talked to my doctor about my memory lapse issues, maybe. A real coach would develop the team's mentality. Yeah, absolutely. And what do the Nets do with those first-round picks? I don't know. People putting entirely too many expectations on Maxey. He is who he is, nothing more. Tyrese Maxey is a great number 2 player, Nooms. He is. But when he's got to be the focal point, he's just too small. Plain and simple. And I've been saying it since day one that his body type with the way he played, you're going to have injuries with him. This is the first time he's really gotten injured. This will probably be the longest stretch he misses with a hamstring issue. Yes, I am live, Barbara. Live and in the flesh. We're talking Sixers. We're talking who to blame for the Sixers being 1-6. Marshawn is very clearly on the side that's 100% Joel Embiid's fault. And you know what? Well, I don't 100% agree. I think he's 100% right to feel that way and vent that way. I don't understand why we're protecting him. Why you think we're protecting him. We're just seeing more than just Joel Embiid. Maybe Joel Embiid and the Sixers need the players at the next home game to give them one of those good old standing ovations that we give to Trey Turner to turn them around. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need 17,000 fans at the Wells Fargo Center to give a standing ovation at the next home game. Make a whistle a non-factor. Joel is Derek Coleman. Oh, man. You're talking about Derek Coleman 2.0. The second time he was here, right? When Derek Coleman was, my God, I remember, Marshawn, I'm old enough to remember them bringing Derek Coleman back the second time and thinking that was going to be the answer to help push Allen Iverson over the top. Derek Coleman 2.0 was after Chris Webber didn't work out, right? Or was he before Chris Webber didn't work out? Anyway, the Sixers brought in Chris Webber, past his prime, and Derek Coleman the second time past his prime. Both times it didn't work out because, well, yeah. Need Larry Brown. Larry Brown would have Joel Embiid out there doing laps. And maybe that's what he needs. He needs some tough love. Maxey broke his foot. He won't be out that long. He did not break his foot. I thought I read that he has a hamstring issue, Nooms. It's a hamstring issue, and they said several weeks. And when it comes to hamstrings, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 3 weeks, it could be 8 weeks. Hamstrings are scary, especially on guys like Maxey that rely on their speed to succeed. I blame the GM. He didn't build a great. Barb, that's me. I put the GM. I put Daryl Morey number one. I put Nurse and Joel kind of in that tied for 2 range. 1-6. What are the Hornets? I don't know. They're not 1-6. There's only 2 1-6 teams, and we're one of them. Now mid Maxey, no. Derek Coleman went 1 in the draft. Yeah, but I'm saying when we got him back that second time, did he go? Hold on. First and foremost, Derek Coleman was number 1 in the draft. I don't remember that. No, that might have been just before my time of paying attention. But I remember when we brought him in at that second time, and he was fat and out of shape and lazy, and just a bum at that point. Very good number 2. He's no Iverson or Kyrie. He's a way better Tony Parker. I think he's better than Speedy Claxton. I'll tell you that one. Yeah, he did not break his foot. No, it's a hamstring. Which honestly, a broken foot would be better than a hamstring injury because at least we'd have a set timetable. It was Bully King pushing around shit contracts. Kenny Thomas. Man, that was a hell of a. We got a lot actually in the Kenny Thomas trade. DC number 1 in 1990. But when we got him at that late in the Iverson career, that was like 2003, something like that. When he was back here, he was way past his prime. Derek Coleman early in his career had some game, but obviously not number 1. I would have to go back. Hold on, 1990. Are you going to make me do this? Are you going to make me look up the 1990 NBA draft just to see who else went in that draft? I guess you're going to make me do this. 1990 NBA draft. Screen is slow. Derek Coleman 1. Gary Payton, the glove, number 2. Abdul Rauf, number 3. Dennis Scott, 4. Kendall Gill. Just looking for Bo Kimball. I knew that name. Going down to Tyrone Hill. There's another Sixer during the Iverson era was in that draft. Let's just be honest. This was a really weak draft. So now looking at Al Abdenabi, Sixers announcer, was a first-round pick in that draft. Tony Kukoc was a second-round pick in that draft. So, yeah, looking at this draft, yeah, maybe you could take Gary Payton number 1 overall looking back in hindsight, but that's about it. It was one of those Evan Turner-esque drafts. That's what this was, just so you know. The whole NBA, like the NFL, is mediocre now. It's watered down for sure, Barb. It's definitely watered down. Dude was a rebounding team. Dude, Kenny Thomas was the ultimate hinky process kind of player. He really was. Dude, I'm doing research on the fly, live, in the flesh. so much more fun drinking and doing it at night than having coffee in the morning. Maybe trending in the AM becomes trending in the PM someday. Dennis Scott at 4 is nasty work. Yeah, it really is. I don't even know why I know the name Bo Kimball so easily and off the top of my head. But for some reason, when I was looking at the names in the top 10, Bo Kimball's name popped out as one of the better names in that part of it, which is pretty pathetic, to be honest with you. NBA draft had a 20. Yeah, it did. But Derek Coleman went 1. If you redid the draft now, Derek Coleman would still probably be number 2 after Gary Payton. Gary Payton was a player. I'll give you that. What if the Sixers season goes the exact opposite of the Phillies? Slow start, then strong playoff run. Well, it could. The NBA season's long, mister. If Joel Embiid gets healthy, if everybody is healthy, there is on paper, when healthy, talent. Hey, Barb, thanks for noticing. Thanks. I appreciate that. No one noticed on my nobody noticed when I was doing Philly Press Box Radio last night. Nobody noticed when I was on Sixers pregame show with Mitchie Poo last night. No one noticed on the Eagles check down this morning. And now we're 40 minutes into it tonight. Nobody noticed till you now. Oh, yes. I did, trim it down a touch here. Shout out to the wifey for cutting it for me last night. 90 draft has to be the worst draft ever. Tyrone Hill. Dude, I remember when Tyrone Hill, and this, how do I say this politely? Tyrone Hill, along with, what's his name? Was it the dude that had Tyrone Hill might be the ugliest NBA player of all time. There, I'll say it. He looked like one ugly dude. I'm just going to say it. Yeah, other dudes aren't going to say nice haircut. That's true, Marshawn. That's very fair. I don't know if I want Marshawn saying nice haircut. Yeah. All right. So let me go through some of these comments here on this post here. Embiid, my man Mark Moscatelli, his absence shows he blames Embiid, but because his absence shows how good he is. That's one comment there. My man Aaron Bell, love Aaron Bell. The players, yes, you're missing stars, but there were games could have won. So he's putting it on the other players on this team. The reason. My man Sean Ronan saying physical conditioning. I guess that's Joel Embiid he's talking about. My man Tyler making a joke. That's obviously Nick Sirianni's fault. Anthony saying when your best players with an S are off the court, it's impossible to win. Booch, my man Booch saying all adds to it, but obviously 21 not being ready again. And Ryan was the only one that said ownership. I love that he said ownership, allowing it to be unacceptable. Love it. It's the whole shitty-ass organization for Philly Joe. All 3 deserve blame. Agree with that. The leading vote being a player who hasn't logged a minute. Says something about it. See, now this person here, Tobias is top 5. Is countering you there. Trade Tobias said Nick Nurse. Maury's a close second. Injuries in general from Marty Hawk. Look, there's a wide range of people and opinions on this poll right now. Eric Snow, AI, Jerome Jones, Jermaine Jones, Byron Hill, Edmonton. How the hell did that blow fucks in Game 7? Yeah, I don't know. You also you can't forget George Lynch. He was a lockdown defender on that team. Can't forget about him. You can't forget about Aaron McKee, 6th man of the year, Marshawn. That just goes to show how great Allen Iverson was to take that team to the NBA Finals, Marshawn. I've always wanted to do a redraft show. Maybe that's something someday when I don't have a pizza shop that I'll do. So I'd love to redraft some of these drafts that we're talking about and stuff, but just goes to show how great Allen Iverson was. Because Allen Iverson was injured just like Joel Embiid, but Allen Iverson played through the injuries. That's why Allen Iverson will always be a step ahead of Joel Embiid in the echelon of Sixers lore and Sixers history. When you have Moscatelli on your show again, he isn't at total idiot and doesn't wear a backwards lid. Moscatelli never wears it. That's Dylan Davis that wears the backwards hat. What year was the greatest NBA draft? 84, 96, 03, 18. I'd have to look at each one. Obviously, I know the 84 one. I got to think about which ones were 96, 03, and 08 and 18. and write them all down and compare them. That's what I would have to do first, Mister. Maxey has been hurt an extended period of time before broken foot. Okay, so I thought you were saying he had a broken foot this time. Okay, so he had a broken foot before. I don't know if it'll be longer or less. Hamstrings are issues, man. AI had the mega green light to score. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. 96 for me, Mystic. Kobe and AI in the same draft. Yeah, that was a great draft. Michael Jordan's draft obviously was pretty amazing as well. I'd have to go draft by draft and really hold on. I'm going to write these drafts down. I can't say I'll do it tomorrow, but 84, 96, 03, 18 NBA drafts just for Mitchie Poo. Just for Mitchie Poo. I'll run a poll on Twitter at some point on this one here. And if I forget, somebody remind me. And on a slow day on Trending in the AM, we'll talk about it. But as you can see, there's a lot of different opinions on who to blame for this. 84 had Hakeem and Jordan. Who else was in 84? There was more than that in 84, but LeBron, Melo, Wade. I think that'll go underrated. If you ran the poll, that will go underrated, LeBron, Melo, and Wade. And who was 18? Just give me that real quick, and then I can make a generalized statement off the top of my head. You know, considering I'm such a big Kobe fan and AI fan, it's going to be hard for me to vote against them, but Barkley was in the – okay, I was going to say Barkley, but I didn't want to sound silly on that one. Man, they're four fantastic drafts. Four fantastic drafts. I'll look it up real quick. 2018 NBA draft. Typed it in. Click on that. Basketball references. That was the 18. This is horrible. Why are we saying this is a great draft? You had Ayton going 1. You had Bagley going 2. Doncic 3. Trae Young 5. Why are we saying the 2018 draft in this conversation? 18's a bad draft. Why? Yeah. Where's this 2018 draft coming from in this conversation? Did I misread it? He did put 2018 in there. Maybe Mr. misspoke there. 2018 sucked. I mean, Luka Doncic is great. He really is. I guess I'd have to go later into the draft to find the Brunsons and the Jacksons of the world, but that top 10 was pretty brutal. My friend Randy declared for the 96 draft, but at 7 foot and being at Mount St. Mary's, he was going anywhere, but the Generals thought he was in the Sweet 16. Played versus Wake Forest. Huh. That's pretty cool. I don't have that coolness. I could say I went one-on-one. Well, not one-on-one. I guarded one-on-one. A guy that went in the first round of the draft in, 98, 99. I did get to play one-on-one. I was in a 5-on-5 game, and as the second biggest guy in the game, I had to guard Malik Rose. He was at Drexel, and I was at Drexel in a one-on-one pickup game or 5-on-5 pickup game of basketball. So that was the closest I came to NBA anything. And let's just say Malik Rose just straight destroyed me in that pickup game. 18 ain't anywhere close. I can't even put that in a poll, 2018, compared to 84, 96, and 03. I just can't. I would get laughed at. Malik Rose was a Spurs legend. He was a Drexel Dragon. At the time, the only year Drexel ever made it to the NCAA March Madness tournament. They beat out Delaware in their conference championship game to get to the March Madness tournament. They got knocked out in the first round, I believe, that year. I still remember going to the conference finals against Delaware. It was held at the University of Delaware, I think. Went 2 years in a row to their conference finals. I forget. But yeah, I remember in the gym working out as a freshman, and there's a pickup game going on. They just went, "Yo, you want to play?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So you can guard that guy. I didn't know who he was. I was a freshman, just started. Like, "Oh, you guard him because you're the next biggest guy here." This guy's like looking at me, like towering over me. And I'm like, tough guy, me. I'm going to body up against him. And he just it was like a fly swatter. That's what it was, Malik Rose and me trying to guard him right at that point. It was pretty brutal. I'm guaranteed 18 has at least 3 Hall of Famers. Maybe. We'll see. I just Googled NBA draft. It seems like people think 85 or 85 was a good one. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. That's because the guy's career is over. 18 is a projection for me. That's true. It's all about those projections. Did you all see the Eagles mic'd up? Yes, we're going to talk about the more about the Jalen Hurts mic'd up part tomorrow morning on the show. Again, that's football. That's tomorrow on Trending in the AM. Eagles versus Cowboys preview. We'll get to that tomorrow. Doncic is carrying 2018. All right, guys. My beer is almost done. So let's pull the shared screen off the screen. Who to blame for the Sixers? Sixers 1-6 start. And I like Noom's positivity. I really, truly do. I like Noom saying that at some point they'll be 20-20. And this will be a forgotten episode in the early days of the STT Sports Network with the first ever overlay that the STT Sports Network has. It even works with two people. So if I have a guest, I can use the overlay for that too. Yeah, no, the beer number 3 is all the way up the stairs in the fridge. It's also when I go to get beer number 3, there's a gummy sitting right on top of it. And we ain't doing gummies live on the air. Just so you know, K1. So no, and then this is beer number 2 here. We also went to Victory, and I had 2 9% Victory wintertime stouts before this show. So beer number 2 of Garage Beer is really like beer number 6 or 7 when you count alcohol percentages of what I've drank tonight. So I think I've done a pretty damn good job for almost an hour here, considering I've already got a buzz working right now. So there's that going on. But for anybody watching that's not part of the Core 12, please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that share button. We are live on this channel every Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9:30. Trending in the AM, talking whatever's trending in sports. Tomorrow will be Eagles, Cowboys, preview and predictions. And guys, if you know Ryan Reese from Party on Broad and from countless other shows, Ryan Reese is fantastic. He's going to join me about halfway through the show. He's going to run about 40, 45 minutes with me tomorrow, talking Eagles and Cowboys. Yeah. I always want to do a wake and bake show. Or just get bleeped up at like 11 o'clock at night on the stream. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not prepared yet for that. I might have to create a separate channel from that. Keep that separate from this, but I don't know. Maybe one time when there's a Sixers game at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday and I have the Sunday off, maybe I'll do it then, K1, because you'll just slowly see me devolve as the gummy starts to. What does one of Jimmy Buffett's last songs say? The gummy just kicked in. Don't know where I'm going. Don't know where I've been. Only thing for certain is the gummy just kicked in. It's a great Jimmy Buffett song. You have to look at the entire draft. How many people remember that John Stockton was at the end of the first round, 84? It's a fantastic point. We're just ballparking here. We're just spitfiring. We were talking Sixers, and it devolved into an NBA draft conversation. You want me to do a draft show? I'll do an NBA draft hindsight show in a heartbeat. I'd have a blast doing it for the NBA and the NFL, honestly. Would have an absolute blast doing those kind of shows, guys. That's something I do when the pizza shop eventually sells, and I got more time to commit to my STT Sports Network. But, guys, I was hoping to go 30, 40 minutes. We've gone almost an hour. I got about 2 hours to finish my night off and then wake up and do it all again tomorrow with you guys. So we're going to cut it off right there, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Pop-up show. I didn't even warn you guys, and you all showed up and showed out for tonight. So I greatly appreciate that. And the pump man jumping in at the last second, right as I'm about to say good night. Yeah, the pump man jumps in. Love it. Guys, with that being said, let's wrap this up. Let's end this shebang. Like, subscribe, share, follow, guys. Tell a friend, tell one, tell all. The STT Sports Network. I'm Phil Stiefel. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. We're not made for this, but bubbles up to y'all.
Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep. Pop, 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 julep.